Dr. Third. The doctor had been out shopping, and he was rushing back to his laboratory in Bessie, his little yellow car. "No time to waste," he murmured to himself. The doctor was in a terrific hurry. Now, Bessie was no ordinary car. The doctor had added a few special modifications, one of which was a hyperdrive button that would make Bessie travel at supersonic speeds. The doctor was about to press the button when he spotted someone waving on the side of the road. It was Mike Yates. His Land Rover had broken down. "Hello," said Mike. "Any chance of a lift?" Yes, said the doctor agitatedly. "But make it quick. I need to get back to the lab as soon as possible." "Blimey, sounds important," said Mike, jumping in. The doctor nodded. "It is," he said, roaring off down the road. "Some sort of experiment, is it?" asked Mike. "You might say that," muttered the doctor. The doctor was again about to press the hyperdrive button when they saw someone on the side of the road. Again. It was Liz Shaw, who was just coming out of the library. Her arms were full of very heavy-looking science books. "That's Liz," said Mike. "Looks like she needs a lift." "Hell's bells," grumbled the doctor, pulling over to let Liz in. "Make it quick," said Mike. "The doctor's in a terrible hurry. Some sort of urgent experiment." "Really?" said Liz. "Anything interesting?" "Very," said the doctor, jamming Bessie into gear. "I bet it's a top-secret experiment," suggested Mike. "Possibly," said the doctor tensely. For the third time that day, he was about to press hyperdrive when their journey was interrupted again. It was Jo Grant. They stopped to give her a lift. It was a very overloaded Bessie that set off again, a very overloaded and slow Bessie. "Good grief," cried the doctor in exasperation. "Is it starting to snow?" asked Jo. "It is," replied Mike. "How odd. Snow in the middle of summer," commented Liz. "I think it's getting worse," said Jo, and indeed it was. They were suddenly driving through a blizzard, and then, without any warning, Bessie skidded sideways and slid into a ditch. "Blast!" cried the doctor in consternation. As they were trying to lift Bessie back onto the road, a line of figures appeared on the ridge above them. "Crikey!" cried Liz. "Those are ice warriors." "They must have made it snow," said Mike. The ice warriors then raised their sonic disruptors and fired at the snowy slope, setting off a huge avalanche. "Quick!" cried the doctor. "Everyone, back in the car!" The avalanche thundered down the hill, threatening to engulf them. But at the last moment, the doctor hit hyperdrive. Bessie lurched forward, and the avalanche lifted them up out of the ditch. The hyperdrive allowed them to surf on top of the advancing avalanche. As the avalanche slowed, Bessie shot clear of the snow and back on to the safety of the road. "Well done, doctor," cried Mike. But the doctor was still in a dreadful hurry. "We must get back to the lab before it's too late," he cried. He screeched to a halt outside the lab and grabbed a grocery bag out of the car. The others followed excitedly, wondering what amazing event they were about to witness. In the laboratory, they crowded around as the doctor pulled a tub out of the bag. "That's ice cream," exclaimed Liz. "What was all the rush about?" asked Mike. The doctor pulled off the lid of the tub. "Bother!" he cried, crestfallen. "It's melted!" Mike and Liz and Jo all looked at the doctor. "You mean that was what was so urgent?" laughed Jo. The doctor glowered at the tub of ice cream. "Where's an ice warrior when you need one?" he huffed.